Good morning, everyone. It is so exciting to finally be official and to be with you guys this morning. Certainly we're here to talk about football, but I just want to take a moment that I just want to express my appreciation to our presidents and to our administrators for entrusting me in this very important position within the Big Sky Conference. I also want to take an opportunity to recognize our student athletes and our players who are here today, as well as our coaches. We wouldn't be gearing up for football season and getting excited for another great season in the Big Sky if it wasn't for those individuals. Their commitment and hard work and dedication to not only what they produce on the field, but also in the classroom just speaks volumes to the hard work that they do for their respective programs. And so we're so glad to be here to showcase all the work that you've done and get excited for a new year. I also wanted to take an opportunity to recognize our administrators who are also in attendance today. Their work is significant for what they do for their athletic departments and how they're integrated into the university. We've learned time and time again, it's not just about being competitive, it's not just about keeping our kids academically sound, but it's about providing opportunity for the student athletes that they recruit to their individual institutions. It's also about making sure that we provide opportunities and that we develop these young adults into what will be great contributors into the community later on. It's more than just graduation, it is development. And so I really do commend the hard work that they do day in and day out to represent the Big Sky. I also wanted to take an opportunity to thank our media who are in attendance, not just because you're here today, but for all the coverage that you're going to do throughout the year. Yesterday I had an opportunity to spend some one-on-one time with the media, and I learned that we've had individuals here for 5, 10, 15 years, and we're just so grateful for the coverage that you do and carry for us, and we ask that you continue to do the same thing. I know John already listed everyone, but I also wanted to take an opportunity to thank our Big Sky staff that's also in attendance. As you know, this is more than just a media day. We've got meetings that are going on, we've got different hospitality functions, and there's work being done, and so I just wanted to thank our Big Sky staff for putting together everything here this weekend and going through all the logistics to ensure that you guys have a very successful weekend in preparation for this year. I know that we're here to talk about football, but there's so many great things that happen within the Big Sky, and I just wanted to touch on a few of them today if you'll allow me to do that. First and foremost, the Big Sky will be in Rio. It's wonderful to be able to have representation of our conference in the Olympics. I don't think there's a higher honor than to be able to represent your country and play your sport. Another thing that we're so proud of this past year is the fact that we were able to conduct our first ever neutral site men's and women's basketball tournament. We had a great first year. We're going to build on that as we're in Rio the next 2 years, and we're excited to continue to conduct that neutral site. In addition to that, we did have an APR report that came to us from the NCAA most recently. In comparison to what other teams are doing across the country, we had 10 institutions representing 18 different sport teams that finished in the top 10% in the APR. That means they are leading the country academically. Now, we always know that we can work on that, we can always have room for improvement, but that is really great work that we're doing on campus, both from our administrators, our academic advisors, but again, it shows the commitment of our student athletes, not only to their sport, but to their degree, and that is just tremendous. And I would say most of you are already going to know the one I'm going to key up next. So unless you don't have a computer or you're not on social media, but hopefully everyone has heard of the great story that came out of Idaho State and the track athlete that tore her Achilles with Shelby, I want to make sure I get her name right, Shelby Erdahl, and she still went on to finish her race, to score points for her team. And that tells you what perseverance means for our student athletes. That tells you about the grit, the grind, really what they are made of, who they are, and what they do. She received 4 million hits on social media, and so that is tremendous. And those are the great stories we want to tell about the Big Sky Conference. In addition to that, we do have administrators who are in attendance, and we're getting some work done. We get together a few times during the year, so it's always important to make sure that we're tackling those key issues that the Big Sky is facing. And so some of those include scheduling, as we've already probably talked about with many media already, in particular specific to the integration of Idaho. We're also getting reports from the different oversight committees out of the NCAA, so we're spending time talking about national issues. We'll also get to talk about time demands of our student athletes. And so, although this is a media session and we're thankful and grateful for the opportunity to kick off the football season, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, and we want to take care of every opportunity we have while we're together. So let's turn our attention to football. I'm a little disappointed that John stole a lot of my thunder by talking about a lot of things that are coming up this in 2016. But the questions that I'm getting for 2015 was, how was last year? How are we going to compare this year? What can we expect from the Big Sky? As you heard already, we swept in the national awards in the FCS this past year, which has never been done before. We had 4 NFL draft picks, which was the most of any other FCS conference that's out there, which is wonderful. We had Montana, who led in attendance again this year. They also knocked off the what ended up being the national champion, North Dakota State, in an early game rivalry. So we've seen some great successes this past year, and obviously we announced the addition of Idaho football back into the Big Sky. So we are so grateful for what 2015 brought to the Big Sky, but we're also turning our attention to 2016. And with that, we're excited for a great competitive season. I think what we're learning is that we have great balance across the Big Sky. We are seeing some great parity within the conference. Right now, preseason polls are predicting we've got 5 teams in the top 25. And that's exciting. And I have to tell you, even though not every team is identified for the top 25, we have great contenders top to bottom. So it's going to be a great year. We're also looking forward to enjoying our relationship with Root Sports. And so their great coverage, we mentioned earlier that they received an Emmy for their Big Sky football coverage, and we're looking forward to that relationship and building on that for the future. Before I turn the show over and keep the agenda moving forward, I did want to just say a couple other things. You know, it is with a heavy heart that sometimes it just feels like our country is divided, that we're facing different social issues, and every day we're reminded how precious life is, and we're reminded of how fragile life is. But what we know about sports is that it brings people together. And that is what our players do, our coaches do, our administrators, our fans, our alumni. We're bridging the gaps across all different levels, platforms, and we're grateful for what sport brings to us. And so for today, during the media sessions, I would challenge our media friends to not only ask about the upcoming season, not only ask about the X's and O's, but ask the student athletes, ask the coaches about what are their aspirations, what are their goals, what do they want to do after graduation, how do they volunteer into the community. Let's tell the story of who they are as individuals and not just what their titles are. And with that, I just want to thank everyone. Let's be kind to one another, let's support and encourage one another, and let's have a great football kickoff. So now it is my responsibility to bring up our friend and great partner with Root Sport, Mark Jorgensen, General Manager for Root Sports Northwest. We're so excited that you're here. We appreciate the opportunity we have to visit with you, and we look forward to another great year. Please welcome Mark. Thank you.